Yes, people, we are back for week 2 of the D&G Show week 2 predictions. This video you're obviously going to be watching after we dropped our reactions to week 1, where both our Los Angeles Chargers and our Buffalo Bills came out victorious. So if you want to see our reactions to every single game from week 1, remember to go watch that video before you watch this one. We're going to be taking a look at week 2. Dev, how are we feeling? Week 2 already here. Like, this is crazy. Football is... Everything's flying. What are we thinking?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this week of football because we got a very good week 1. That was crazy week 1. So I'm excited for week 2, and it's crazy like how fast this goes. Like, it's crazy how we're already in week 2.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for sure.
Feels like preseason just started yesterday. We're already week 2 of the NFL season. It's just,
yeah, man.
It's incredible. This is the best time of year if you're a sports fan, man. Like, football's in full flow. Hockey's right around the corner. The baseball playoffs are right around the corner. If you're a soccer guy, it's so many sports going on right now. So let's dive into it. The first game of the week 2 slate, the Thursday nighter, a huge game, a great game. The Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. What are we thinking about this one, bro? It's at Lambeau. What are we thinking?
Obviously, both teams walked away with a victory in week 1. I think this is going to be a great football game to start off week 2. I do have the Green Bay Packers pulling this one off at home. And you know how much I love Jaden Daniels and those boys in Washington. But just the performance I seen from Green Bay in week 1 against Detroit, it's hard to bet against them right now. So I'm going to go Green Bay. And I got this game going 27. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I do have Green Bay winning this one.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, like, it was, 2 good wins from both these teams last week. I think at home, I back Jordan Love right now. Obviously, we're both really high on the Commanders, and I think they're going to have a really successful season. But at Lambeau, with that defense, Jordan Love, give me the Packers. I'm going to go 21-20 with a last-minute field goal at Lambeau. Packers win, and they go 2-0. The Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, Cowboys starting the season 0-1 after losing to Philly, and we all know what happened to the Giants against the Commanders. Ev, how do you see this one playing out, bro?
Yeah, like I said in the last video, I really like Dallas' performance in week 1. Obviously, they didn't get the job done, but I do see them getting the job done here. I just think that offense is going to flow against that New York Giants defense. And I personally, a lot of people are probably going to say this is going to be a close game. I don't see it. I think Dallas is going to come out strong after knowing that, like, last week that game was in their hands. They could have pulled away with the win. I think Dallas is going to come out strong. I think Javonte Williams is going to be very good on the ground. I think he's going to go for another touchdown this week if I had to bet on it. He was phenomenal. And I think it's going to be a big game by CeeDee Lamb as well. I just think the Cowboys are going to be too much on offense for the Giants. So give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be close either. I think, I when I look at the Giants, I just really struggle with thinking that they're going to be a team that wins many games. Obviously, we spoke about it in our previous video. Neighbors already looks extremely frustrated after 1 week. Russell Wilson, you have to, is he past it? Can he still play at this level? A lot of questions about the Giants. I think at home, Dak's going to have a big game. I think CD's going to have a big game. Give me the Cowboys in a big win. I'm going to go 28-10 Dallas at home. Yeah, Cowboys get their first win of the season. Let's go with Pittsburgh and Seattle. What are we thinking about this one?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good football game. The question is, can Aaron Rodgers continue what he did in week 1? And I think he will. I think the Steelers, hey, if you're a Steelers fan and the Steelers walk away with a win here, you're happy, 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I do believe the Steelers are going to win this game. I do think it's going to be a closer game. I think Sam Darnold and those boys in Seattle are going to make this game a close one. I'm going to go 20-17 for Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be a close battle, and I think Seattle's going to fight, but it just won't be enough for that Pittsburgh defense. I could see that Pittsburgh defense dominating, and I think maybe Sam Darnold might struggle a little bit in this football game, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will walk away with 2-0 after week 2.
Yes, I also think that Sam Darnold and that Seahawks offense is going to struggle. I think that the Steelers are going to swarm the ball all Sunday long. I think Aaron Rodgers has another big game. I think 4 touchdown passes in week 1 against his old team. I think he's feeling it right now. I think, he was, in my opinion, just oozing confidence, and I think a confident, healthy Aaron Rodgers is a big problem for the league. I don't think this is going to be a blowout at all. I actually think this is going to be a tight game. I think the Steelers are going to win this one 20-14. Give me the Steelers 20-14. I think the Seahawks can stay in this game. I think maybe they can force a couple turnovers, but I think that I think the Steelers get the job done. The Los Angeles Rams and the Tennessee Titans. Matthew Stafford against the rookie Cam Ward. Obviously the Rams with a big win in week 1. The Titans 0-1. What do we think about this one?
Now, obviously, the Titans struggled to create any offense against Denver, which is one of the best defenses in football, but this is another defense, one of the best defenses in football they got to go up against in week 2. And I think the Rams are going to show why they're very strong on defense. What a tough 2 weeks for Cam Ward to go up against 2 of the best defenses in football. Like, poor guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough.
I do have the Rams absolutely dominating this football game. I think it's gonna be a blowout, and we're gonna see a big game, I think, by Devontae Adams. I think Adams is going to have a great game against that Tennessee defense this week, and obviously Williams on the ground, and I think Stafford's going to have a phenomenal game. Obviously, Nakua. I'm going to go 34-10 for the Rams.
Yeah, it is a tough start to his NFL career in terms of Cam Ward, in terms of who he's had to play against. Obviously, a very difficult defense in Denver, and now having to play against the Rams. Both of these teams didn't score many points in week 1. I mean, the Rams scored 14 and the Titans scored 12. But I think the Rams are probably due for a big offensive outburst, a big offensive performance. I agree. I don't think this game's going to be close. I'm going to go with I also think Devontae Adams is going to have a big game. I'm going to go 28-7. Give me 28-7. It's going to be a stinky game for the Titans again. I think the Rams are going to put up some points. So yeah, let's see. I think the Rams start the season 2-0. And let's move on to your Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets. The Jets, surprisingly to both of us, put up a lot of points in week 1, and obviously your Bills put up 41 on the Baltimore Ravens. What are we thinking about this one? It's in New York. What are we thinking?
This game actually, there's obviously going to be Bills fans out there that are excited for this game because they think, we're probably going to steamroll the Jets. I 100% disagree. If the Jets' run game with Justin Fields, obviously, and Breece Hall, that had a phenomenal game in week 1, if they can get the run game going with those 2 guys, the Jets could shock the league and beat the Bills. So the Bills definitely have to come into this game and be able to stop the run, because if not, the Jets can win this football game. But I think the Bills will have a better game defensively, and I do think the Bills will walk out of this game with a win. But it will be tough. I'm going to go 27-17 Buffalo. I just think the offense is going to flow. And like I said, if the Bills struggle with the run, this could be a game where we look back and we're like, there's got to be questions asked on Buffalo's defense. But I do think the Bills will walk out of this one with a victory.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout either. Just because I do like the Jets' defense. I know they got scored on a lot in Week 1 against the Steelers, but I just think when it comes down to looking at these two teams, I just trust Josh Allen to put up more points at the end of the day. I think the Bills are going to start the season 2-0. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a tight game. Divisional games are always weird games.
Yep.
I'm going to go 28-21 for the Bills. The Bills start the season 2-0. I think Josh Allen has another huge game because he is Josh Allen. And unfortunately for the Jets, they start their season off 0-2. But, it's two tough opponents to start the season for them. So
it looks promising. Like, even if the Jets lose this game and go 0-2, as being a Jets fan, you gotta still have a smile on your face, because I think that what I seen in Week 1, I think they can fight for a wild card with the way they played. And yeah, like I said, if they go 0-2, it's not the worst thing. You got to go up against a tough Buffalo Bills team. So I wouldn't be upset, and I wouldn't give up after Week 2 if they lose to Buffalo.
Yeah. Let's move on to the other two teams in your division, Patriots and Dolphins.
Two teams that were a disaster in Week 1. This is a tough one for me, because obviously I'm high on New England this season, but they just struggled so much against the Raiders in Week 1. This is tough for me. I'm going to go 17-16 for the New England Patriots. I just think they'll come out strong after a poor Week 1 performance, and I just don't think that Miami's all there this year, and there's obviously a lot of questions asked. And if Miami has a tough season this year, do you think that McDaniels get fired? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a possibility that he doesn't even last the season, to be honest. If what we saw in Week 1 carries over through the next few weeks, because that was a really bad Week 1 performance from the Dolphins. Don't get it twisted.
Very.
And I think they start this season 0-2. And I'm sorry, I don't think that there's any way you can spin it. When you have a quarterback who you drafted in round 1, when you have Tyreek Hill, when you have Jalen Waddle, I'm not asking you to be the AFC East champions. I'm not asking you to win the AFC in general. I'm not asking you to go to the AFC championship game. But they have to be a lot better than what they are. You can't argue that. You can't excuse what they're doing with the talent that they have on their roster. It's not good enough. I think if we see more of this from the Dolphins, I can't see them staying with their head coach for the entire this season, and I think it'll start to unravel. I think you could see Tua, be benched for Wilson, and I think there could probably start to be some question marks about Tyreek. You know how we know the kind of character that he is. He can probably start, saying he wants out of Miami, but at the end of the day, he decided to go there. He's the one that said that Tua is just as accurate as Mahomes or whatever it was that he said, or something like that. I don't know what it was, but something along those lines. But yeah, it's not good for the Dolphins right now. I think the Patriots win this game. I think they win this game 20-10.
Now, this is my question to you. If Miami struggles this season and they go to the deadline, do you see a world where Tyreek Hill gets traded?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think the Dolphins could be looking at a rebuild, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they have a young enough quarterback. They have Tyreek. They have a lot of talent. I think they thought they were going to be in a very much different trajectory than they're on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's only Week 1, so we'll have to wait and see. They could put up 30 points this week. Look really good. You never know.
Yeah.
But I can only judge off of what I saw in Week 1, and it was not good. So I think they could be in trouble, especially if they start the season off 0-2, especially if the offense looks like what they looked like last week. So Let's see. So we both have the Dolphins going 0-2 then. The Cincinnati Bengals, after a very close win over the Cleveland Browns, take on Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dev, what are we thinking, bro?
You know what, man? I said it in the last prediction video. There's always going to be that big upset. I was wrong on last week's prediction. But yeah, this week I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just did not like what Cincy did last week. Yeah, they walked out of there with a win, but it wasn't great. And I think like the past couple seasons they've struggled to start the season, and I think that's gonna continue this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars W. It's gonna be a close one, very boring one. I'm gonna go 20-19, a 1-point win by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like what they're doing in Jacksonville. Obviously, they had a very strong performance against Carolina, and I just think the struggles are gonna keep going with the Cincinnati Bengals. So yeah, give me Jacksonville.
That's fair. I think this is probably where we're gonna. Yeah, this is our first disagreement, I think, of week 2. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I don't think they're gonna have anywhere near as bad as a performance that they had in week 1. I think Joey Burr has a big game. I think Jamar Chase has a big game. I think Jacksonville stays in it, definitely. I don't think it's a blowout by any means. I actually think this is a bit more of a high scoring game. I'm gonna go 28-24 Cincy. I think it's one of those ones where the Bengals get the ball last possession, they score a touchdown, they win the game. So give me the Bengals to start the season 2-0, because I don't think that the Bengals can have another week as bad as they did last week in terms of offense and find a way to win again. I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I think the Bengals start off 2-0, and we'll move on to the New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. I have a feeling we're both going to be going with this, even though you touched on the Purdy and the Kittle injuries. But do you think that gives the Saints any chance to win this game?
I think it does give them the chance to win this football game. I'm not going to go that route, even with obviously Purdy not playing and Kittle not playing, and then the injuries they already have added on to that. I think they will struggle in this football game, but like I said, I think New Orleans is the worst football team in the NFL, and I could 100% see this football team going 0-17. I'm gonna take San Fran, but I'm gonna take San Fran in a very low scoring, close game. I'm gonna go 17-14 San Fran. I think they'll walk away with the win, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, I kind of agree with basically everything you said, so I don't really have much to add to that. I'm gonna go 16-10 49ers win. I also think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I see McCaffrey having a big game. Obviously, he's going to get the ball a lot more in the backfield now with Purdy being hurt. So I see a big, maybe 100 yards, 100 plus for CMC on the ground. So I think it's going to be a big CMC game, and I think he's going to be the star to win the game for San Fran.
Cool. Let's move on to the 0-1 Baltimore Ravens being defeated by the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns. This is an interesting one. Obviously, the Ravens are going to be looking to get to winning ways after, the fourth quarter collapse against you guys. What do you think? What do you think is happening here? You think there's any possibility the Ravens start the NFL season 0-2?
There definitely is, and it's just because, like I said before, the Ravens do struggle in their divisional games. They lost to Cleveland last year by a game-winning field goal. I do think the Ravens will win this football game. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout necessarily. Obviously, they're coming into this game hungry and upset about last week. But I do think, divisional game, it's tough. They've lost to Cleveland last year. I think it's going to be a closer one than what people are saying, but I do think the Ravens will win this one. I'm going to go 27-17. I think the Ravens do win this one.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to score a lot of points this week. I think, again, after what happened on Sunday night against the Bills, they're probably super upset at the way they lost that game, and I think that Derrick Henry's going to have another huge performance. Give me the Ravens 31-20 in this one. I think they go 1-1 to start the season in these first two games. I have a hard time seeing them lose their first 2 games of the season. So I'm going to go
Yeah.
with the Ravens win. And let's move on to the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams. We spoke about it in our, reaction to week 1. Very good first half, we thought. Second half kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And a very disappointing performance from the Detroit Lions. Both teams with a point to prove in week 2, Dev. Who do you think comes out on top in this one?
Here's the thing with me. It's like, obviously, Ben Johnson being in Chicago, it's
Yeah.
going to be a fun one. I do think it's going to be a
I
good
agree.
football game, and I could see it being one of the best football games of the weekend.
Agreed.
Like I said, I'm high on Chicago this year, but I don't see Detroit falling into to start the season. So I am going to go with Detroit, but I do think it's going to be a very good football game. I think Chicago's offense is going to be great, and I think the Lions will bounce back offensively as well. I think it's going to be a offensive heavy game. I'm going to go 24 Detroit. I just don't see them falling 0-2 to start the NFL season.
I agree. I think it's also going to be a close game. I think both teams are going to score points. I kind of just echo what you say. I have a hard time seeing the Lions start the season with 2 losses. Obviously, on the flip side, it's going to be frustrating for the Bears if they start off 0-2 as well, especially I thought they were in control against the Vikings up until basically that fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Lions get the job done. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go 24-21 for the Detroit Lions, and they get their first win of the season. The Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts both starting the season off with important W's. What do we think about this one, Dev? Who goes 2-0?
Yeah, give me Bo Nix in Denver. I think it's gonna be a very defensive heavy football game. I don't see that big Daniel Jones performance like we did in week 1 against a great Denver Broncos defense. I think there's gonna be a lot of turnovers in this football game. I just think when it comes down to it, I gotta go with the better quarterback and the better defense. So give me the Broncos in this one, 17-13. I just think they're gonna come out strong, and like I said, to me, the best defense in football, and I think they're gonna show it here in week 2.
I'm going to see if Daniel Jones can turn me into a Daniel Jones believer, and I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts starting the season 2-0. Yeah, I don't care, man. I had a lot to say about Daniel Jones heading into this season, but let me see if he can prove me wrong. Obviously, I never want to see teams in my division win football games. So I am going to go with the Indianapolis Colts to start the season 2-0. I think they're going to win with a last-second field goal. Give me the Colts 20-17 over Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Yeah.
I like it for sure.
Kind of I don't know, man. This game won't be on the telly on Sunday for me. The Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. I think I know where you're going to go with this one, but what do you think about this one, Dev?
I think, like you said, this will probably not be on the TV. Is this a 4:00 game?
Yeah, it's a 4:00 game. Yeah,
4:00. Yeah,
4:05.
I think it's just because both teams' defenses are just not very strong. So to me, it's gonna be a battle. Kyler against Bryce Young. Yeah, I think it's gonna be high scoring. I got the Cardinals pulling this one off, 31-27. I do think it's gonna be super high scoring, and I think
I like that.
My hot take though of the week is going to be a 2-touchdown, 100+ yard game by Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals as well. I just think the Panthers are really bad, in my opinion. Maybe the second or third, fourth worst team in the NFL, maybe. Give me the Cardinals. I'm going to go 21-18. Again, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Cardinals get the job done.
Yeah, which is crazy because if the Cardinals do walk away with this win, we're looking at them as 2-0 to start the season. Obviously, 2 relatively easier matchups for them, but if you're a Cardinals fan, you're happy going into the season 2-0.
Yep. Let's move. This is a really good game. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, we all know the history between these two teams. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. What do we think?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth with this game just because I wasn't very impressed by both teams' performances over the week. Obviously, one team got the win, one team didn't, but I wasn't very impressed with them. at all. I do have Philly winning this game. I think they're gonna just pound the ball very well against KC, and I think that defensive line is gonna get to Mahomes just like the Chargers defense did too. So I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a really tight one for me though. I'm gonna go 24-23 Philadelphia Eagles and the Chiefs to start the season 0-2.
Huge if it happens. I also think the Eagles are going to win this one. I think, obviously, against us, Mahomes had some crazy moments, but I found like a lot of times, two things. We were getting at him a lot and forcing him to scramble, but, he's Mahomes, so he makes plays. And there were a lot of gaps in that Chiefs secondary, like McConkey, Keenan, QJ. They were getting open and open and open, and I think Saquon has a big game in this one. I think the Chiefs start the season 0-2, which is crazy to say.
Great.
I think this is a close one as well, though. I think they're going to go back and forth. I think both teams are going to score points. Give me the Eagles in this one. I'm going to go 28-24. The Eagles walk into Arrowhead and leave with a U and leave the Chiefs at 0-2.
And now with that, if that happens, that the Chiefs start off 0-2, with that schedule they have, is there already a panic button in KC going into week 3?
I don't know if there's a panic button, but I do think there's definitely some concern. I don't think you can argue. You can argue because sure they have the Giants week 3, but then they have Baltimore week 4. So you could very much be looking at a situation where you're 1-3 after 4 weeks of football, and it's not good. So I don't know if it's panic stations just yet, but I think there will be a lot of concern if they start the season 0-2 for sure. Yeah, could be a lot of questions asked. Okay, the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings is our Sunday nighter. Dev, what do we think about this one, brother?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the games of the week, actually. Just because, Minnesota, they had a good second half, obviously, against the Bears.
Very good.
And, Atlanta, even though they didn't get the W in week 1, they did look promising and they did look good, and they could have won that football game. So I think, to me, this is my take. I think this is going to be the game of the week.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a shootout. I have the Falcons winning this one, 30-27. I think it's just going to be a good game by Bijan. He's going to do Bijan things. I could see another big game by Pitts. He had a good game in week 1, and obviously, that it's just I'm not high on Minnesota this year, and I think the Falcons will be the better team in this one. So yeah, give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I also agree that Atlanta wins this football game. I think I'm expecting a huge Bijan Robinson performance. Sunday night, all eyes on this game, obviously. I also think it's going to be a really good football game. We know the fourth quarter in particular that JJ had against the Bears, but I think the Falcons get the job done here. I think it's a close one, though. I agree. I think it's going to be a great football game. I'm going to go... What did you say?
I said 30-27.
I'm going to go 24-21. Atlanta wins it. Yeah, it's gonna be it's a great Sunday nighter. Let's move on to the Monday night games. There's two of them. Obviously, we have the first one is the Bucks and the Texans. Baker versus CJ.
Yeah, this is gonna be another game where we could sit here and say this might be one of the games of the week as well.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for this football game because obviously Tampa Bay had a phenomenal week 1. Houston didn't look great in week 1, so will they bounce back? I don't know. I think just Tampa Bay has a very good defensive line, and I'm not a big fan of that Houston offensive line. I think it's one of the worst in the NFL. So I think guys like, Vita Vea, I think he might get to CJ Stroud with ease this week, and I think Houston's going to struggle again, and then I think there's going to be questions to be asked because obviously teams like Indy and Jacksonville are performing very well to start the season. So if Houston goes 0-2, we could be talking about another team taking the throne in that division. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is gonna play really well, and I think Houston's gonna struggle. I'm gonna go 27-17 Tampa Bay.
27-17. Yeah, look, I have a lot of questions about CJ Stroud in that offense. I really do. I think that when I look at these two quarterbacks, I just like Baker more. I like Mike Evans. I'm not sure if Houston has built this team properly to be successful. And I know I picked them to win the division. That was more so just because I don't think their division is great. But I agree with you when it comes to the fact that if they lose this game, which I think they will, and they start 0-2, and let's say someone like the Colts starts off, it's a lot of question marks already. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Bucs are going to win this game. I think the Bucs win this game 27-21. And I think there's going to be a lot of question marks around the Houston Texans after 2 weeks of football. I don't see them winning this football game. I don't see them beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think, maybe I'm already looking at my prediction of that division and thinking I got it wrong because 0-2, no team wants to start 0-2. So, yeah, give me the Bucs in that one. I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, final game of the week 2 slate. We have my Los Angeles Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders to finish off week 2. Dev, what are we thinking about this one?
Now, obviously both teams walked out of week 1 with a victory, and both teams looked great in their win.
Yep.
I just think the Chargers secondary is going to be too much for Geno Smith and those boys over there. I see a big game by that defense in LA. I think they're going to cause problems. I think they're going to create turnovers. I could see this being a game where Geno throws 2 or 3 picks in this game. I got the Chargers dominating this football game. I think the ground game is going to work this week. It's going to open up some big plays. Throwing the ball, I think Herbert's going to be phenomenal again. Ladd McConkey, phenomenal. I could see big Keenan Allen game as well. Maybe another Quinn Johnson touchdown. We'll see. But, yeah, I got the Chargers dominating this football game. I'm going to go 27-13 for the Chargers.
Yeah, I also think we win this one. I'm going to go 31-14 Chargers. My hot take of the week is that Justin Herbert throws 4 touchdown passes this week.
Okay.
I think he's going to go off. I hope he goes off. Yeah, I think we win this one big. I just think, coming off the high of beating the Chiefs week 1, again, the Raiders did get a big win over the Patriots in week 1, so I can't really say much there. And these divisional games can always be tough. But I really liked what I saw from my guys week 1. So give me a big Justin Herbert night. Again, prime time, whole world's watching. Give me Justin Herbert. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers. And that wraps up week 2's predictions. Anything you'd like to add, Dev, before we jump off?
Yeah, hopefully this week is just as good as last week or even better,
100%.
Super excited for this week, and it's crazy to say that we are in week 2 already. Yeah, it just seems like, it's gone by so quick before you know it's playoff football. You know what I mean? But yeah,
absolutely.
We're obviously super excited for the season, and we're super excited to see week 2. And hopefully both of our teams can start the season 0-2. We're super excited for this week. And yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Super pumped for obviously week 2. Can't believe it's already here. Just time is flying. But that is it for this episode of the D&G Show. Remember, like I always say, to leave a like on the video, drop a comment, let us know your predictions. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload on all the content we're going to be uploading. And make sure you go over to TikTok and follow us there as well. We will drop the link in the description down below. But like I said, that is it for the D&G Show. That is it for our week 2 NFL predictions. We'll chat to y'all again very soon. Until next time, peace.
Peace.